Hi, I'm Nan Simonson. I'm the author of Aging Powerfully. I'm a health and lifestyle coach with Dr. Wayne Deisinger's lifestyle medical practice in Riverside, California and Redlands, and we're affiliated with a number of them that are spreading across the United States. And I am passionate about the mission and message that I adopted when I wrote my book, and that was to help others understand that through lifestyle modalities, and that's in my book, and in many of my videos I talk about it, and through one of those modalities being a healthy diet, and as described by the College of Lifestyle Medicine, that means whole food, plant-based, or as plant exclusive as you can be, and low oil, salt, and sugar. I don't use oil in my recipes. I don't use sugar in my recipes, processed sugar, or any processed foods beyond some of the ones like tofu, tempeh, maybe some maple syrup, but usually date paste. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say about this. You'll see there's another book here. I have fallen in love with the work of this woman. Her name is Dina Burton. She's Canadian. Her recipes are phenomenal. As a matter of fact, she was the subject of one of my back and forth many conversations with Chef AJ about the ranch style dressing that I was making, that I brought to her house for New Year's Eve as a portion of my crudité tray. She fell in love with it. She did a video on this her favorite plant-based vegan ranch dressing, and we both came to the realization later on, because I couldn't remember where I had gotten the recipe. I'd gotten it a year and a half before that, and even did a video on it in January of 2020, and it was Drina Burton's. So she's one of the things that made it so unusual was that she used potato as the thickening, and I thought that was brilliant. And then dill seed, she was adamant, use dill seed, not dill wheat. It's quite different. And even Chef AJ said, I love the flavor of this. So why am I going on and on? Because there was something else of hers that I fell in love with. I thought, oh my gosh, she's going to think I'm stalking her, or I'm going to rip her off for everything she's doing. That's not the case. You will find that I don't have a cookbook. I have no plans to do a cookbook, and maybe that will happen much later, but I'm not a recipe developer as much as I am a recipe trier, putter together in terms of things I like from many recipes to create something that happens to hit my palate well. And I am unabashedly complimentary to the people whose recipes inspire me. In this case, I'm not just inspired by it, I'm doing it just the way she did. And what am I talking about? Vegan feta cheese. Who would have thunk that you could do feta cheese with tofu in a manner like this? I tried it. We were going to friends' homes. We have a number of friends that are not vegan, but they will, when they have us over or when we have them over, eat completely vegan meals. And I was in charge of the salad, so I made a big salad, a Greek salad. Well, what do you want with a Greek salad with cucumber, tomato, red onion, crispy romaine dressing? I used an crispy romaine lettuce. I used an oil-free dressing, and it was marvelous. But I had to have that very Greek thing, I thought, and that was feta cheese. The entire recipe was inspired, or that dish I was bringing, by my having found this and trusted Drina knows what she's doing. I'm going to try this. Brought it that night. Our friends loved it. So I have a cup of boiling water here. Cup of boiling water, and I'm going to add to that a quarter of a cup of red wine vinegar. I'm going to add 2 garlic cloves that I've thinly sliced, and I'm going to add a half a teaspoon of salt. I am, unlike the person I admire and have followed most closely from the day I became whole food plant-based, or the month, which was, well, beginning in October of 2018, but began following all of her work in at the beginning of 2019, Chef AJ. She is strictly SOS free, salt, oil, sugar free. I am not strictly salt free, but I use very little salt. And in this case, I'm going to trust that this salt is going to be part of the brining of these of the tofu. All right, so we have a cup of water, the red wine vinegar, and I have something I wanted to show you, so I'm doing it backwards rather than putting it together and letting it drain and then splicing this. I just thought I would put it together, let it drain, and then show it to you. So did you see what just happened? I turned and this big old spring popped up, and this slides off easily. I could do all that in reverse. Now, what works really well with this is to take these two trays. There's a top tray and a bottom tray. They're identical, but one's on the top and one's on the bottom. If I were putting this together initially, the easiest way for me to do it, I have found, is to put, let's see if I can do this, them together on here and then turn this over on it, rather than turn it like this and try to get it down without, it just seems a little bit more, I'll use the word messy. It's not a clean, swift action. And I'm not going to turn this over because I still have more liquid draining. I took this from the sink where I had it on its side. I happen to really like this brand. Oh, I'm going to feel badly if I can't tell you what it is. Well, I got it on Amazon. It looks exactly like this on Amazon. I'll put it in my notes what the brand is. I like it. It's just easy. And I, this time, measured the brick of tofu before I was going to say squoze it. I wish that was a word. It's a great word, squoze. Before I squeezed it in the, it's called a tofu press. If you want to look at Amazon and just look at all the tofu presses. And it was almost 2 inches. It was 1 3/4 inches, a little bit more than that. Just did it again, and it's about 1 1/4 inch now. So it squoze out. I'm going to stick with that. All of the, or that much liquid. And I'm going to, can you see this? I'll just move this over. I'm going to cut it in half like this. What I'm looking for is feta cheese size cubes. If you got cubed feta, they're probably about 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch. So that's what I'm aiming for. And I made this for our friends. I doubled the recipe, no problem at all, because I was going to bring them a full brick of it. Well, when I doubled it, I couldn't tell what was a brick, what wasn't, but I'll just say I gave them half of it, and I kept half of it. And today, in my daily 1.5 pound chopped salad, I had the end of this, and I made it for them last Saturday, so it lasted an entire week, because today is Saturday, April 2nd. So look at my cute little cubes. They don't have to be cute, but they are rather authentic looking cubes. Putting them in the boiling water, which had kind of stopped boiling because and I just washed my hands before we came together here. Now, so what I'm going to do, what she instructs, is that we make this brine and we boil the tofu for 20 minutes. I don't know how she comes up with this stuff, because I wouldn't have thought of that. And her words are that the boiling it in the brine and then mixing it with its marinade afterwards, because this is just the first step. I'll drain it after 20 minutes. I'll mix it while hot with a marinade, and you'll see that. I'll be putting that together in this video. And that it gives it more of a chance to absorb the marinade. And there must be something that happens when it's actually boiled for 20 minutes. Quite frankly, I've never boiled tofu for anything. So that's what I mean. Drina is a bit of a pioneer and a maverick. And I admit, I don't have that cleverness. I have cooked since I was 9 years old. 10. And this, I shouldn't admit this, but I used to dumpster dive. We lived in apartments. My mother was raising 3 kids, little ones. And I used to dumpster dive to get magazines, and those little kind of magazines that were in newspapers that had recipes. Back then, I was in love with recipes. And I babysat. That's how I made money, and that was my little job at 11 and on. And I would go to their homes and make them things from these recipes. And so they thought I was the best babysitter because I would do all of that and clean their kitchen afterwards. And I think about that now, and I think, you know, Nan, here you are, 71 years old, and you're still stuck on collecting recipes. And I would mess with them then too. So, and I love to cook. So I'm letting this go for 20 minutes now. Little simmer, just started boiling again. I'll get back to you. We'll put it together. I'll show you what it's going to look like. And then I'll put it in the refrigerator and I'll have it for the next week on baked potato. Where else could I put feta? On salads, on sandwiches. Can you imagine? I was thinking the other day how good this would be on a piece of toast, some feta, because it's salty, briny, creamy because it's tofu, with just a drizzle of honey. Some of you don't have honey because you are staying away from all animal product. It could be a little bit of date paste. It could be a little bit of mango preserve. Oh my goodness, wouldn't that be good? Okay, I'm talking too long. So I'm done and I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. So I boiled the tofu simmered for 20 minutes. I've drained it. It's hot, but I'm not going to put it in the pan because I'm going to put in the other ingredients first. Let's see, I'll leave this here. And the other ingredients include miso paste. Miso is sold in a little tub. You can get it yellow miso, red miso, white miso. I usually get the white or the yellow. It's a softer flavor. It is a fermented paste of soybean, and it adds umami and it adds a saltiness. In this case, it's going to be perfect to give me what we want in this, and that is a salty, briny kind of a flavor. Then I've just added lemon juice, red wine vinegar, more of that, some maple syrup, and oregano, dried oregano. I'm going to mix that. I love this little whisk. I have no idea where I found it. I've purchased other small whisks, but this one has more blades in it, little wire blades, and I don't know if it's called a blade, but it does a nice job. I make matcha tea every morning, and I don't have a bamboo whisk, and I use this, and you can see I can get kind of a foamy end product. Okay, this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to break up the miso, get it well blended with everything else. Now, I'm going to put in this tofu that has been boiled with water, vinegar, some garlic pieces, and I've left the garlic pieces in here. Garlic, when it's cooked, is kind of sweet. And yet I like the look of it enough. See, it's stuck. And I like the taste of it enough that I want to put it in there. And I'm going to mix these just to coat the tofu. And then I'm going to add something that really makes it briny, and that is Kalamata olives. They've been drained and they've been chopped. You can mince them, you can chop them, you can slice them. These are kind of a combination of slice, chop. Drina minces them. I minced them the first time I made this, and they coated the tofu to such a degree that it looked a little like dirty. And so I've been experimenting with the consistency that I like. What I'm going to say about this is that I can eat it now, but it doesn't have anything like the flavor that it's going to have a couple of hours from now, and a day from now, or a day or two from now. I have another one in the refrigerator that I made maybe 4 days ago. It's just lovely. And, or however long ago I made it. And now this is going in to fill the void, because that should be finished in a day or two. I hope you like this. Enjoy. Thank you again, Drina Burton. And bon appetit. Have a great day, because I know I'm going to. Bye-bye.